I got a problem. You probably have a problem too. You're a Cavalier fan. You probably have a problem. Let me know what the problem is. Let me know what you think the issue is down 3-1. Let me just start with that. My problem is with this franchise, the faces change, some people come and go. The outcome is the same. The outcome is the same. For since we became postseason relevant, the outcome is the same. You have the play-in year where that team had no expectations, couldn't win either game. Actually sold away, the second game of that play-in barrage. The first game against the Nets and KD and Kyrie, all right, whatever. You weren't going to win that. But the Atlanta game, you had a chance, and you're foolish. The Knicks series, out-physicaled. Let's break it down. Let's break it down from just a pure number standpoint, okay? So you're a playing team, whatever. Who cares about that, actually? To be honest with you, you got to start somewhere, whatever. The Knicks, you're the 4 seed. You had a home playoff series in downtown Cleveland, 4 versus 5. I was at the first game. You're terrible, out-physicaled, out-hustled, complaining about the refs, out-coached, out-conditioned, Okay, last year. What happened? If you really want to break it down, the funniest part is what people don't actually understand about this season is that, well, once again, we've all lost the plot, and besides me, because I never lose the plot on this. The regular season means absolutely nothing. The regular season of the NBA means absolutely zero. You might as well not even watch it. I've personally been saying this for years. The regular season is for entertainment purposes only. You don't get any real diagnosis on teams. You don't get to see who the best, who they're going to be the risers in the postseason are. I mean, look at Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome was going to be walking around with $100 million contract this offseason. 25 million. Some team would have gave it to him. Some team probably still will. He has lost so much money in this playoffs and in one series, in 4 games. And a playoff series hasn't even concluded. The Miami series, throw that out. That was just we'll get to that, but throw that out. Think about last year, right? 4 and 5 seed, 4 against 5 again. Cavs at home. 7 games. So you couldn't beat the 5 seed the season before that. The 5 seed last year, you probably should have lost that series. No, this is another thing that everybody wanted to whistle back past the graveyard last year and just say, oh, JB, which is right. I was saying fire JB before last year. You should have fired JB before last season and got Nick Nurse or somebody else. You know what? I don't really care. You were late on JB. Somehow this organization is ahead and late. Somehow you were ahead with 2 bigs, let alone 3 bigs with Lauri Markkanen. Said, we're going to get rid of him. We're going to send him to Utah, even though that was the dumbest part about that trade was sending him to Utah. It made kind of absolutely no sense. You should have tried to keep him at all costs if you really want to go back to the root of where all this kicked off from. Last year, you get outscored in the first round. You win in 7 games. The Orlando Magic scored more points than you. It took late game heroics multiple times from Donovan Mitchell, a chase down block by Evan Mobley to win that series. And everyone, you have to appreciate the resiliency. You have first playoff series win and how long without LeBron? Why are you complaining about it? Because you didn't look good. Just because you win games doesn't mean you look good. Oh my God. And now you're in this position. You beat the only difference this year, the actual only difference this year is you actually didn't have any major injuries in the regular season, in my opinion. Maybe Strus to start the year, you could play that off as a major injury. Maybe. You just tried your ass off all regular season this year, so you actually wouldn't have a good first-round opponent. That has been the only difference from this year than the last 2 years. Can anybody disagree? If you could disagree, put your argument in the comments. I don't care about the Defensive Player of the Year award in the grand scheme of things. Everyone's going to come out, oh, I don't know what that is. I'm just telling you, congrats to Evan Mobley. We gave him $40 million extra as a contract signing kicker because he won that. For you to do what in the playoffs? Be hurt? Look like a flailing giraffe out there? Oh, Ty Jerome, 6-man. I mean, 6-man of the all year long. And honestly, this fan base just makes it so much worse, to be honest with you. And when I say this fan base, I'm not talking about you guys. If you're tuning into this, you're a high-level ball knower. I'm talking about the people on Twitter. Oh, Jerome snub, Pritchard, his minutes are way up, and he plays so much more than Jerome. They have the same stats and efficiency and true shooting. Oh my God. Give it a break. I mean, Kenny Atkinson looks like the most fluke coach of the year candidate in modern history. He's running a 3-2 zone. You're running a 3-2 zone in the playoffs. You're telling me that you can't match up against the 4-seed Indiana Pacers? You have to go to a zone? You're telling me that you can't play one-on-one hoops? Like how many more indicators in this series should just say you're scared? Complaining about the refs, saying, this is the line from Kenny that is going to be questioned for me all offseason. Well, it was past the line of physicality, but they're not dirty. What is that? What would you call that? What does that even mean? Are you calling them dirty? Or are you calling us soft? Are you complaining about the refs? Complain about the refs. Victim mentality. Darius Garland, you don't know what I'm going through. Ugh, that's pretty ripe. You're making $40 million this year. Yeah, I would hope that 99% of people don't know what you're going through when your game check hits and it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. We don't know what you're going through. We actually do. We actually do know what you're going through. You think this is the first time that the Cleveland fan base has experienced a collapse? No, we do. Yeah, no, we actually do know what you're going through because we went through it with you in the New York series in 5. And last year against Boston 5, we never had a chance. And we went through it with you in the play-in, and we went through it with all the rebuild years, the Colin Sexton and the Jordan Clarkson and the trade for Andre Drummond and the coach John Beilein 5-year extension, another Kobe Altman move nobody talks about. We went through it all. We went through the 3-1 Cleveland Indians collapse in the 2016 World Series. We went through the Browns not being able to beat Chad Henne for 2 quarters. Okay? So spare me that, please. Honestly, just if I'm his PR guy, I'm just telling him to be quiet. Stupidest thing an athlete can honestly say. You don't know what I'm going. God, man. Especially on a max. Especially on a max contract. I don't know what that guy's talking about, to be truthfully honest with you. Jared Allen, Mr. Cardio last night, 2 points. I mean, talk about one of the most bipolar NBA players ever. Absolute stud in game 3. I forgot he was playing last night at some point. Like, is this guy even out here? Mobley, I don't know. Clearly looks hurt. But if you're out there to play, if you're good enough to play, you're good enough to be criticized, and you should be good enough to play regardless of the situation. You're in the playoffs. You hung around. You sat out game 2. That's the real point here. And actually, before I get to my notes here, I stopped taking notes because what was there to take notes on? At some point, you're down 41 points. At the end of the first half. It's not like this is a competitive game where it just doesn't go our way at the end. And this is what a lot of people are going to understand. This is what a lot of people are going to fail to mention, fail to talk about, and fail to realize. Game 4, where you lose by 20 points, really, it was really like a 40-point blowout, in my opinion. It really wouldn't have mattered if you would have won Game 2. Now, let me remind you, Game 2, not only were you at home, not only did you have a 20-point lead at one point, I believe, 19, 20 points, whatever it may have been. Not only did you have a 7-point lead with 48 seconds left to go, I think people thought it was sweet. I think people thought that it was a chill vibe. You're telling me that Hunter, Mobley, and Garland couldn't suit up for that game? You'd rather have Dean Wade in there the last couple of possessions, try to get a rebound over Mobley? Not me. Rather have Okoro out there taking corner threes than DeAndre Hunter on one thumb? Not me. That's the real tragedy of this series. You could at least go on with your life and, at least have some mental clarity, even with the blowout last night, if it's at least 2-2 headed back to Game 5. Could you imagine the spirits and the morale and the national coverage of this, regardless of last night, if you would have won Game 2? Last night I wrote down Mathurin baiting. He baited himself. That's the funny thing too. Like, this game happens last night, and their top four, one of their top 4 players, in my opinion, gets thrown out. I mean, I got Halliburton, Neesmith, Turner, and either Mathurin or Nembhard as their top 4 guys, and he gets thrown out in the first quarter doing something stupid. It's embarrassing. You're getting clowned on national TV. The fact that Benedict Mathurin that thought even came across his mind that he could try to pull that stunt just shows how embarrassed you should be if you're the Cavs. That's never happening to a LeBron James Cav team. Sorry, it's not. What else do we have here? DG and Hunter bad. I mean, they're bad. I get it. You're playing through injury. I commend you for trying. I will say that. But, well, actually, you weren't. Actually, I don't know how you don't have an injury designation at all. You went from being out Game 2 to playing Game 3 to now you don't have an injury designation at all. I don't know how that's possible. You're telling me DG's toe is better? But then all broadcasts talk about how it's they made a special part of his shoe for it. Just give him the injury. Just say he's questionable. Just say all these guys are questionable, and then say they're going to play. I don't know I don't know the optics or the NBA or the protocol. However, you have to go about reporting injuries. Either the Cavs suck at it, or the NBA makes no sense. I don't know how you have 0 injury designations for this game. In my opinion, I should be able to criticize as much as I want if you have 0 injury designations. Hunter is rattled. DG is lost. Mobley is like, okay, but you could tell he's, I don't know. They're taking him out of the series. I mean, DG looks like a lot of these guys on this team need like a 10-game runway to ramp up after an injury. Dean Wade hasn't been relevant for months. Okoro has a shoulder injury halfway through the year. He looks terrible ever since. I mean, this is like months ago, guys. This isn't like recently, like they got banged up in the Miami series for some of these guys. This is months. When is the last time Dean Wade has had an impactful game? Months. Second quarter, I just wrote this shit getting out of hand, and I stopped taking notes. And I put a box around it. I put JB like, because that's how I felt. There is no difference from some of these performances last year in the Orlando series with JB at the helm, with no DeAndre Hunter, with Karis LeVert and George Niang running around there being fools, to this year. Last night was no different. And I don't know if you could argue with that. I do not know how you could argue with that. Cavs are down 3-1. I urge you not to lose at home, even though you've already lost 2 home games this series, embarrassingly. I urge you not to end the season at home. That's the least you could do to respect the fans, in my opinion. And you have a 5% chance to come back. So do with that information what you will. If you're here for this long, like button, comment down below, share with your friend, local Cavalier fan, Rants on YouTube. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.